to deal with it. Let's take another caller. Okay, let's go forward. So now we talk about teen pregnancy. And well, what does it produce? Teen pregnancy. Some of the things that it produces are an increased risk of sexually transmitted diseases. The young people are running the risk of getting genital herpes, chlamydia, pelvic diseases, gonorrhea, syphilis, just to name a few. There's increased risk due to the sexuality. Many of the children are born into poverty. Their parents just don't have the resources, spiritual resources, mental resources, emotional resources, physical resources, and or the financial resources to help them overcome the poverty that they've been born into. We always hear poverty, we think about money, but poverty can come in other areas as well. The children will have development needs because the parents are not developed properly. They may not have a relationship with both parents because it's almost unheard of where both parents stay in the life of a child if a mother is a teen parent. They have difficulties with school. A lack of education from the parent means a lack of educational enforcement in relationship to the child. And they will probably fall to become victims to cultural conformance, which means they'll actually become what the community has to offer them. But it may be from a negative conformance and not a positive. So when we start dealing with teen pregnancy, we see that a lot of stuff comes out of it, and we need to be careful that our children do not have to conform culturally to the subcultures of gangs, drug dealing, violence, prostitution, domestic, or as well as street prostitution, all those other things that bring up being slaves, working minimal jobs for minimal wages. Because they don't have the education, because they don't have the skills, becoming house sitters, and all these other manner of things that will be produced just from the simple fact of having to conform to what goes on in the community. And so we have to look at that. You can overcome and also be a blessing to and help your community if you just look at the decisions that you're making and why you're making those decisions. So we need to take a look at that, because one of the greatest things that any human being is life skills. These skills are very, very much needed, but when education is aborted or interrupted to bring a child into the world, or even when males become the giver of sperm that produces these children, it also weakens their ability and takes away a lot from them as well. Because no matter what they may do, it's still real that cause and effect. When a child is born and people are not caring for that child, the effects is not only on the child, but it's also on the people that brought him as well. And when young men look at the fact they may be faced with child support for years for one bad decision, they need to take a look at their decision and look at really why they are doing what they're doing. That can be taught, that can be learned, but there are not enough people who are willing to teach it or who even know the science of how this stuff really works. So at a knock at midnight, we're saying, yeah, we understand relationships, we understand how they work, we understand the dynamics of them. So we're more than happy to teach people those realities, those principles, an understanding of what those things really are. And anybody who would like for us to do that, whether it's at your church or your school or what have you, you can call us at 773-488-2960. You